These are the 5 principles of spotting a squat. Hey, my name is Asa with TSS Spotting and Loading, manager.
Hi, my name is Steven with TSS Spotting and Loading, co-manager.
So we started TSS Spotting and Loading about 3 years ago at 2021 Raw Nationals in Florida. And since then, we've about doubled in size and had the opportunity to go to some cool meets all over the US. We've got the privilege to work with a lot of meet directors all over, people we never thought we'd work with before. So we're pretty thankful for that, and hopefully we're able to do more in the coming years.
Now at these meets, we have 2 priorities. The first one is safety. Whether a lifter fails a lift, passes out, or dumps the bar, we as spotters need to be ready to catch it and keep them safe, as well as keeping ourselves safe. The next one is speed. The speed of a meet is entirely dictated by how fast we can go and get the weight ready for the next lifter on the platform.
The first principle of spotting a squat is your hand placement. We'll show you a demonstration. You should always have one hand under the bar and one arm fitting the bar into the pocket of your elbow, as seen here. You should never have one arm under the bar and another on top of the bar. And you should also never have both arms together trying to hold the bar. You cannot curl 600 pounds. You will hurt yourself or the lifter.
Second principle of spotting a squat, foot placement. You always want to be in your strongest squat position to spot. You can't lunge 600 pounds, so you need to be standing in a firm, stable position. Most fails of a squat happen at the bottom of the lift, so you want to be able to get in a good, strong stance to be able to squat the lift back up with the lifter.
The third principle of spotting a squat is when to intervene. Obviously, you want to go after the head judge's call of when to take the bar, but they're not always going to be able to make that call in time. When they do not make that call in time, we're going to use our better judgment to properly save the lifter from the failed attempt. A good rule of thumb is when the lifter starts going down or when the bar starts traveling downward is when we have the chance to take the bar. Just because they're not going to receive a good lift call anyway, we want to make sure that their safety is priority to us. We never want to jump the gun on these squats just because the lifter put a lot of effort into prepping for this meet, signing up and showing up. We want to be able to give them the opportunity to try their best and to give the most effort in each squat attempt.
Primary and secondary. So a primary's role is to spot the weight every attempt and to also work with the secondary to load the weight. The secondary's job is to help the primary load fast and to also keep the weight tree organized. On squats 500 pounds or more in competition, both spotters jump in to spot.
The 5th principle of spotting a squat, the rack. So after a lifter completes a squat, they're going to walk it back into the rack. An important point is you want both lifters on each side to grab the weights simultaneously, and you want to help guide the lifter back into the rack. You don't want one spotter to work too hard or move too fast. You want them to be in sync so that you can help guide the lifter in.
And now 5 speed tips on how to load faster.
So the first speed tip is to have the weight prepared on the rack. So since you're going to have 2 spotters at a meet, one spotter is going to be loading the weight. The next spotter is going to be getting the rack together, making sure the weight is already loaded on the rack for the next attempt. So all the first spotter has to do, take off the collar, and the second spotter can put on all that weight.
The next tip is communicating with the head judge. Make a signal, that way once the weight's loaded and the platform is ready, you can give them a thumbs up and they just know to start it. Or you can just tell them that once you're tightening the collars on the weight, that it's good to go.
The third tip is primary and secondary spotters working together. For example, if you need to strip the bar, you're gonna have one person get one red, next person gets the other red, and it just keeps going in that fashion. All big plate loading, and you can even alternate down to the 2.5s and the 1.25s.
The 4th tip is the collar. Some people hold them in their hand or just drop them on the floor. In order to save time, you can take the collar and you can put it in the upright and then load the weight and then grab it from there and put it back.
And the last tip, the 5th tip, is you can always have the back spotter do rack heights. With 500, 600 pounds on the bar, you don't need them there to hold the bar in place. They can just go under the bar and do rack heights for either side.
Join us next time when we go over spotting and loading tips for bench.